What's going on, guys? You see the title of the video, and this is something that I just wanted to bring up to people. You know, Project L was they just showed the gameplay. A lot of people are loving it, falling in love, but I think it's a little bit like kind of crazy when you really think about what's kind of happening here. Now, there are two things that can happen with this game, and I'm just talking about character-wise. Now, they can go with a very small roster with very specialized skill sets, like Echo looks like he plays completely different than Darius. Darius looks like he plays different from Jinx, and all that good stuff. But if you read that, what it says right there in the middle, more than 140 champions, you will find the perfect match for your playstyle. Master one or master them all. And what does that look like? It looks like this, the endless scrolling of glory here. Like, there's so many characters in this game over the years, and to think that they're going to do a fighting game. So like, just for example, right, they just released the Rune King, which you guys can check out my review of the Rune King, the League of Legends story. So in that one, they have Yasuo, Ahri, Alawi, I'm trying to think, Misfortune, and Braum. And then there's one more, Pike. There we go. So, you know, they selected specific characters that are going to fit that story and all that good stuff. But this is a fighting game, which the story doesn't necessarily need to match up. They could just go pure arcane with it. But I thought it would be fun for me to give you guys my picks. And oh my God, please give me your picks in the comment section below. I would love to see what characters you guys would go, and especially if you have no idea who these characters are. Literally, I would love if you just go by looks or click on it, and then, you know, you could look at the skills and stuff like that, and you could be like, oh, I would definitely want to see a character that has a big boomerang thing in the game or whatever. That's what we're going to be doing. So sit back, sit tight. I'm going in alphabetical order. I'm not going in pick order. So just so you know. So I don't want to have no, that person's better than that. No. We're not doing that. Now, don't be alarmed by how many tabs you see. Just accept it. Just accept it. All right, let's get into it. First in the alphabetical is Akali. And most of the reasons, by the way, these are not going to be like super long and detailed. It's just I want to see like maybe one or two aspects that I think they should put in the game. Akali is just because I think she's really quick. I think that they need that fast, spastic X23-esque character. So I will be pulling examples from multiple different fighting games, so I do apologize if you have no idea what I'm talking about. X23 was in Ultimate Marvel, I think. Ultimate Marvel was Capcom. She was very fast character. And I feel like Akali is able to kind of do that. She has moves where she can kind of jump, go in and out. Even her super, she like dashes, hits you, can move around, target you, come back and stuff like that. I think that she would animate extremely well in that game. Next up is Affilios. Now Affilios, if you have no idea, he has, I think, 5 weapons. Yeah, 5 Lunari weapons. He has 5 weapons. So I think that as far as like animation wise, that would look entirely sick. Like him switching between each thing, especially with supers, like he would look like insane. Like as you could see him just kind of switching around, each thing does something. I don't know how in depth they want to go with certain characters, but I feel like Affilios would be literally, I think honestly he's like my top pick of a character I want to see fleshed out in a fighting game, because I think it would be insanely difficult. He would be like the high skill cap character. I feel like there's always a good reason to have a low skill cap, like a character that's very easy to use, and then one that's, if you learn them and do everything right, that you get a really high payoff. I think that Affilios would be that perfectly. Next up is Azir. Now, Azir is one of many characters that I picked that I think would be a really good, not because of this turret thing, where is it? Because he has the ability to spawn a soldier. And I do like characters that have, I think they're called like puppet fighters, like they can pretty much spawn something else and it like kind of mixes you up. Very similar to Guilty Gear Strive, where his name is Axel? No, it's not Axel. The guy that has Eddie. I was thinking this whole time his name is Axel, but it's completely not. But he can spawn a thing, and I've always liked that mechanic inside of a fighting game where you have to worry about 2 things and it becomes very hectic. It's hard to control both things at the same time, but when you master it, it's really good. So I think that that's the reason why I would like to see Azir in the game. Now, Brand, I'll be honest, only reason why is because I feel like not enough games have damage over time things. So he's my damage over time pick. I would have thought about picking Twitch or Cassiopeia, but I just wanted to use him as just a catalyst for that idea to have someone that like leaves a damage over time that you have to, maybe they can make a way that there's a way to like get rid of it, or it just, you get hit. I think in Street Fighter, I think the guy's name is Fang. He puts poison on you, doesn't tick for too much, but Brand is all about like leaving a dot on you, then you can spread it, extend it and stuff like that. So I really would like to see that in a fighting game where you have to be very cautious about getting hit too many times with maybe moves that don't do too much damage, but like stack up this burn, even where you could just walk away from the person, and which sounds very toxic, but you can walk away and just be like, hey, you're burning, you gotta come to me, I don't care, sorry. Like even if and this might be crazy, even damage over time on block, but I don't know if they'll ever do that. So excuse me and my wild thoughts. Braum, because you need a Captain America. You need a shield guy. It could either be him. I think if you want to go Captain America, I think technically Pantheon would be a little bit better with that. But I think that Braum's character, especially when you now have him in the Rune King and you see his personality kind of branch out, he's just kind of a funny guy. And I think that they do need Defender-esque characters that can't be all offensive, but have a Defender-esque character that could be possibly just a really good support. I think that that's something that a lot of people forget in tag fighters, assist fighters, is that sometimes you can just have one character as the main thing, and there's a really good support character that they have just a really good move that helps them out a lot. So maybe he could be that, but I also think that he should be able to fight very well. You know, he's not he's a manly man, you know, he's not a punk by any means. So I think that it would be nice to see him in his like shield and do some stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I just think Braum would be fun to put in the game. Next up I have is Camille. She's just, I don't know, another fluid moving character. I think a character that could reasonably, where is it? Here it is, this move, where she can actually go on a wall and then leap at you. I think that there's a character, I think it's kind of like a Spider-Man-esque kind of thing where you can like attach or swing or attach something to the floor and then it juts you forward and allows you to do mix-ups if you can even get behind them. I think she would make a lot of sense for that. I think that that would be a really cool aspect to make her in there. And I think she's a pretty, you know, she's pilt over, and I feel like, you know, not that many people know exactly who she is or why she's like that. She looks like she could be like Victor's, you know, cousin or something. I don't know. Chogath. Now, if you guys don't know about Chogath, not this, but I'm gonna go to his ultimate, that the more he eats and the higher level he gets bigger. So not that I think that he should be able to do that mid-match, unless that'd be kind of cool, as if he finishes you with a super, as depending on how many rounds it is. We don't even know like the time to kill, I guess, in the game, how that's going to perform in the game. But let's say if he kills it with a super, he gets a boost up, so he can have like maybe one boost. But I want him as a big guy, one of the big, hard to get around kind of guys. I think that that would be really cool to see him in that role. He's not too interesting though as like an actual character. He's just mostly as this really big threat, and you know, the big Hulk, the big Nemesis, the, you know, those characters in the Marvel vs. Capcom, just a really big threat. And I think that that would be cool to see how they animate something like this. And of course he's an alien. I'm always a fan of having monsters in the game, not just humanoids. Next up is Draven. Reason for Draven right here is this whole axe catching mechanic here. So he can spin an axe, he throws it, and then it has to land somewhere, and he gets more damage. I think that this would be a really interesting fighting game mechanic, because I don't know, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if they've ever done something like this. It would just seem cool if you have to do a combo and you have to go back to a specific spot mid combo in order to continue the combo. Like, it staggers them. Like, if he hits you with something that staggers. Echo had a skill, one of his time bombs, that looked like it slowed you significantly. I think that would be really cool to see in this with this character, but instead of him throwing one thing, he has to keep doing it to continue a combo. And it could be a fast thing, and maybe maybe help with like dashing, like he has to dash and like get it, and then maybe do boom boom, dash back, catch it. It throws like really quickly, like, so it doesn't like stagger or miss or drop the combo. I think that they could do it. I think that they could really do it, but I don't know. I think, again, really high skill cap character, I think this would be. Gnar, baby. Reason why I think Gnar is because he's small. He's small, but then he spazzes out and he turns into a big guy. I think, one, they always need a small guy. There's always usually there has to be at least one Yordle in that game, because there's always usually a small character that everyone hates for some reason. But he can also turn into a big character, so you can have it like, you know, a little mix between. And then I don't know how you would code that. That sounds like a coding nightmare. But also it could be install, and that's another reason why I picked this character and another character later, is because I want installs. I love those, like that you can spend bar to access a completely different moveset, or just, you know, slightly different properties or something like that. I would love to see that in the Project L. Aurelia. She's another one of my highest picks that I really want to see, just because of the way that she fights. She has like these blades that she dashes with and does all this cool stuff like that, and then all the blades are around, and she can dash each between. Like, it's kind of nuts what she can do. I think just the combo potential, she should be a very high combo character. Like, whatever it is, remove the combo limit and let her go buck wild. That's exactly what I want to see from Irelia. Jace won because he was in Arcane, right? He's one of the main characters of Arcane, but he's also one of my favorite characters in the actual League of Legends, just because he does have 2 different forms, right? He has the hammer form and he has the shoot form. I don't know what they call the other form. But I think that will be a cool mechanic, especially just looking at it in a combo aspect. To see him go from hammer, then you have to press another button to switch, and then finish off in the shoot form, or vice versa. You can start in the shoot and it lets you get in, and then you hit him up with the hammer. I just think that would be cool to see. Jhin, the Virtuoso. Now, if you guys don't know anything about Jhin, everything's in 4s. 4s, even his name has 4 letters. Everything is about 4. He only has 4 shots in his pistol. Again, it's one of those things that I would just like to see how they would make a character that can only do 4 of certain things. Like, imagine if he can only do 4 hit combos, which would be terrible. But imagine if they are like these long, like kind of cinematic kind of combos, so that I actually would think that he wouldn't even be a difficult character to play at all. He'd be like a very basic character. He can't do high number combos, but he can do these really cool stuff. I don't know. I just would be interesting if a fighting game had to make Jhin a character, would they stick to the format, or would they kind of break it and do something else? They could just give him like a gun and it just reloads every 4 shots, and you have to plan your 4 shots. Everything else is just like him you know, doing kicks and punches or whatever, but then he can only do 4 shots, you know, even if it's the super or something like that. Or maybe if he delays and doesn't use a shot at all in his combo, when he does do it, the super's longer because he has all 4 shots. I don't know. I don't know. It'd just be interesting. I think you know what I'm saying. Kaisen, the daughter of the void. I think that she would be a really cool character because she has evolving skin, second skin. It evolves and all this other nonsense, depending on your stats in the game. So in that same weird scenario, like you see there, she goes leveling up. I think it would be cool, like depending on maybe, I don't know. I just want to see Kaisen in a game. I just love her. But yeah, if you have more AD versus or attack speed or magic, she does certain stuff. So I would love to see that implemented somewhere in the game, or maybe they just have it that she's this version and then they build off that. But I don't know. She deserves more spotlight, I feel. She's a really cool, interesting character that has like literally alien skin on her. I think it would be really cool to see her animated. Karma, just because she's always like some late game weird thing, but I think that more specifically, her whole thing is with this, is the mantra. You can see her, she charges up and then she does a move. It has an additional effect, which in my opinion in a fighting game would be stance cancels. She would have like a stance cancel. So she would pop, use the mantra, and then do a move after that. I think similarly, Echo kind of has something. He has a kind of like a stance cancel when you go into a move and then you can do something else out of it. So I think that Karma would be that, but she would be like more of a rangy kind of version of it. So I would love to see that. Kindred would be another one of the weird ones, right? Because Kindred has kind of 2 pieces. I think that again, it would be similar to like, oh my god, I need to look up this guy's name because it's driving me nuts. Zato, his name is Zato. Oh my god, I couldn't remember that. Anyway, but it would be similar to like that. Like it's another setup character, but I think Kindred has this really cool mark system that, you know, if you do something specific, like if you mark the character and then the Eddie attacks it or something like that, it does more damage, or could be, you know, set up certain combos, or when they're marked, they could do only certain combos or moves could be used. I think it'd be really cool. The Blind Monk Lee Singer. Now, mainly just because I don't think that they have a melee character, like a character that just purely uses fists. So I think that he would be pretty good. Another honorable mention would be Set as well, like just characters that like are all about just fisticuffs, like pure fisticuffs. I think that would be really cool to see. I think but I think he's the OG, unless they want to go with the newer popular character, which would be Set. But I think Lee Sin has earned his right to be in the game as the fisticuffs character. Lucian, purely because of what is it, D&D fight. I was gonna do a video about that. I don't know, it didn't have enough sauce in it really, but maybe I'll still do it. I don't know, but it was really cool to see a dual wielding character, dual pistol wielding character that actually looked like it had fighting game combos. I don't know that they have another one, I think. And no, it is Guilty Gear, right? That has I forgot her name, but she's a double pistol wielding character in his fights. They just dropped one in Strive, which the Bed of Chaos, but I was talking about a completely different character. So there's ways that they could do it, and I think Lucian would definitely be a cool addition. Close range-ish gun shooter, not like a distance gun shooter. If you didn't think Masti, just because, I don't know, they could probably make him have some really flashy sword combos. There's not much thought behind this, but you know, it's Jesus. Come on. you gotta pay your respects. Mordekaiser I think would be great because he would be another big bad. He's a big bulky character with a big old mace. He'll be just like Darius, but you know, that's how he's always been, like this really hard to get around character that does a lot of damage. I think it would be pretty good to see him too. Gnosis, same thing. Big bad character, but Gnosis has a unique mechanic where he has to farm this skill. The more that he kills with this one skill, the more damage it does. So very similar to, I forgot what character I was saying before, but it would be cool to see if they had like a mechanic where the more he puts this skill in his combo, over time it does more damage. Which, don't know how they would code that, but I think that that would be really cool to see. The more he uses this like Hadouken, to make it in simpler terms, the more damage it does as he goes on. So you can maybe like even practice, okay, I did this skill 15 times and this now is like taking out health bars, but it sounds insanely bad probably for balance, but I would like to see it because I'm, you know, psychotic. Riven, just because I think combo, because she has a blade, a broken blade for most of the match, and then when she uses her ult, it actually forms, like as you can see here, it's like broken, but when she uses her ult, she like turns it and it completes. I think it would just be cool as an install character, or one of those characters that you have to, maybe even a Phoenix Wright character where you have to like find certain stuff to fix it. Like she fixed it, and then once she has it fixed, she becomes like godly broken, which is kind of like how she is in the game. She becomes godly broken. Tyvanna, for a very similar reason, she can't display this. What are you talking about? She's a regular character and then she turned into a dragon, another install character, or possibly, we haven't discussed this yet, a Dark Phoenix-esque character where, you know, you have to have certain conditions, and then when you meet these certain conditions and die, then you can transform into this. That could be the same thing for Gnar, it could be the same thing for her, but I think her would make the most sense because of the whole dragon, and I don't know, it would be really cool to see, you know, her transform into something. Dark Phoenix was a bit of an issue in Marvel, but I do think, you know, maybe they could make it a little bit better, but I do like those mechanics. It's just really fun to see it. Syndra, again, would be very similar to the Jacko argument. You know, she has, like as you see, she has balls, she can like throw them around, and she would probably be a better example than that than Quinn, but I just, you know, I don't know, Quinn needs some love, okay? But Syndra would make more sense to me than anything. Now Vayne, where is it? No, it's this skill. Vayne has a really cool mechanic where she hits with her auto attacks 3 times, it does a burst of damage. So I would love to see, like, if you could string a combo, you have, if in the midst of a combo, if you could do this one move 3 times, it does an additional burst of damage. Very similar to what I said about the Gnosis, but like done a little bit differently. Not like it scales each time you use it, but this one is if you have to string this combo in there 3 times, which would be cool. Or like even if you use a super, it could be identified as that as well. But I don't know, I think that would be a really cool mechanic. And last but not least, Ziya. And the reason why I picked Ziya is because she's married. I think they are husband and wife, or they just really love each other. I'm not exactly sure, but she has Rakan with her for most of the time, and she kind of has a cool feather, which is again maybe a little bit of set play kind of thing. Obviously they have to make this feathers ridiculously big, kind of like as big as her ultimate. Like look how big these feathers are. It'd be a little bit easier to see. And her and Rakan kind of work a little bit together, so it could be, like I said, like a kind of tag team kind of fighting kind of thing. And I think that that'd be awesome to see. I skipped over a couple others, so it's not like I didn't think about those other characters. I promise that they were in my heart the entire time. But those are some of the characters that I think would be really cool to see. And of course, YFOs in the comment section below, let me know how you feel about my picks, but more specifically, I would love to see what your picks are. Like I said, there is a lot to pick from, you know, for whatever reasons. It could be funny reasons. I didn't even pick like a gag character. That could have been like a Dr. Mundo or something of that nature, you know, maybe more supports or something. But you know, there's a ton of characters. Annie, you know, would be a good pick. I thought about Aurelion Sol because he's literally like a god dragon, or Zoe for some really annoying stuff that like, and there's so many different games have done so many different things, fighting games I'm speaking about specifically, that you have so much room to play with. There's so much room to play with. I thought about at least to be like a Devora from Mortal Kombat. Like, this too much. And like I said, after seeing what they did with Echo and they were doing with Jinx and with Ari, they really are making them kind of true to what they do in this game. So I would love to see how they would do, like I said, stuff with Draven. Like, how do you put that into a fighting game where this is kind of they might go a little bit into, you know, unseen, unexplored territory. I don't know how to say it properly. They might go into some crazy territory with this. So we'll love to hear your guys' opinions. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. And that's MFO. And now you guys know. And just remember that every day at the Kashino is your lucky day. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.